Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you a video today to discuss why professional players all of a sudden black out their boots in practice. Now, I've made several videos on blacked out boot situations, some very recently, and normally when I talk about these situations, it's when pros are doing this in a game. And to make a long story short, usually when this is happening in a game, it's because that professional player is either not endorsed by anybody or his endorsement deal has just ended and he's looking for a new contract, either with the same brand or potentially with a different one. So the reason why they black out their shoes and cover up any branding or logos is because they don't want to advertise anybody for free. They're walking billboards out there and there's a lot of marketing money being thrown around. So that's the main reason why they black out their shoes in a game. Yeah, sometimes even when they are in that in-between period, you'll see them blacked out in practice as well, because obviously the media is always around taking pictures. But very recently, the main reason why I'm making this video, Messi was just spotted wearing some blacked out boots. So obviously, I saw a lot of comments on my channel asking, is Messi switching brands? Is Messi switching boots? What is going on? Why is he wearing blacked out shoes all of a sudden? He obviously does have his own signature model in his own signature colorway that recently came out, the turbocharged pack. So this is why pros all of a sudden will wear a blacked out shoe in practice. It usually is a case of a new model coming out or a new variation of a new model being tested. And there's a couple different ways to look at this. In the case of Messi very recently wearing a blacked out shoe in practice, by the looks of it, it looks to be something upcoming. And obviously there's lots of leaks out there online. You can go look them up. I'm not necessarily going to talk about those on this channel, but it's generally a situation where a new model is in the works and they give these professional players, generally the bigger names, the blacked out variations of these new models to try out, basically because one, the shoe is 90% of the way there. And this kind of begs the question that a lot of people like to ask or just assume that some of these big name professional players have a lot to do with the development and design of some of these boots. And quite frankly, that just isn't the case. What pretty much any big brand will do is they may ask for some input, but that input's going to come in at the 90% completion point. So they'll take that new shoe that's just about to come out, they're just about ready to put it in production, they'll give it to some big name professional players that they have endorsed under the brand in blacked out form so you don't know what they are, and they'll ask them their feedback and potentially make some slight tweaks and changes based on that feedback if something is horribly wrong. If they give the pros the shoes and they say, yeah, they're good to go, then hey, they're gonna put them in production right away and you're gonna see them on their feet, completely branded, full color, not blacked out, sooner rather than later. So that's scenario one. In the case with Messi, you have to look at his boot history. He very rarely wears a standard stock variation of any of the shoes, be it an F50 model, be it his own Messi variation, be it any shoe that he's worn in the last, 10 years of his career. It's always been something that is pretty heavily modified from the standard version that you can actually go buy in the store yourself. So what I think was happening very recently with Messi, and again, this is scenario number two, is that they'll give these new models before they come out to some of their big name players and say, this is what we have. What would you like to be changed? What would you like to be modified? So we can have a custom variation of this boot that looks like the real thing, but isn't necessarily that. It's more the custom variation that you want. So when we decide to release it, you have something to wear right away so people aren't skeptical of what exactly is going on when everyone else starts wearing them and you're not. So that is generally the main reason why you'll see pros all of a sudden wearing blacked out shoes in a practice. It's either one, because they're actually getting some kind of a feedback for the development of that product after it's, like I said, kind of 90% of the way there, or two, they're giving the variation, be it a custom variation or the standard variation, to a big name professional player so they can get some feedback and they can get some information as to what changes they actually want made when the shoe actually does release, so they have that custom variation ready for them in the regular colorway. So it looks like the real shoe, a camouflaged boot, if you will, kind of what Adidas is doing right now with the Messi 16.1. It does look to be a custom variation for Messi, very much like what Nike was doing for Neymar when he was wearing those custom variations of the Hypervenom finish. So that is pretty much what's happening in the case of blacked out shoes in a practice situation. If they're wearing blacked out shoes in a game, again, more red flags are going to be raised. An endorsement deal is over. They're likely looking for some kind of an endorsement deal. They're in between contracts. They're not advertising anybody for free. But in the case of a practice, again, it could be one of those two things. I would say 99% of the time. So hopefully this answers your questions. If it did, be sure to support the video with a like. If you have any further questions for me on this particular topic, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. And if you have any suggestions for other topics that you'd like to hear me touch on, leave those down below in the comments as well. And I'll definitely take a look at what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.